Hi all, welcome back to my channel, The Everyday Life of an Aspie. If you're following me right now, at this point in time I'm AspieAnswersAll, just to give you a lowdown, and at the moment I'm doing the ADHD series, basically ADD, as well as the dyslexia series, just when it's all up and running, the right information I need to get for you all. So enough from the guys, basically at this point in time I have been collaborating right now, or shall we say researching some bits of information off student bits that I thought would be of relevance to us all to actually use as a research tool or whatever tool it may be. So therefore basically right now I'm talking about like 15 things basically to, and what not to say to someone with ADHD. If you or your child or your spouse partner has ADHD, you may inevitably encounter naysayers, or just maybe just people who simply do not understand the condition and its impact on someone's everyday life. Unfortunately, there are many misconceptions about ADHD, like many other things. We just need to be considerate and actually know what to say, when to say it. And even though some people may have the right intentions to say what they say, sometimes it goes without saying. Just think before we speak, and think before how someone else may likely to react to it. Some of the misunderstandings, however, of these misconceptions can be very hurtful to people living with ADHD as well. Some incorrectly can render ADHD as a myth or a fraud or a made-up disorder, which is over-diagnosed and over-medicated, which is not 100% true. Like any other mental health disorder, it is real and it's out there, you know. A lot more on the piece of my thoughts for that later. Others perceive ADHD as a benign and constant condition that can easily be managed by good parenting and disappears as the child moves into adulthood. Whether you are the parent of the child with ADHD, the partner and spouse of someone with ADHD, or yourself, you may have likely heard some or all of these following faulty or provoking statements about ADHD of the condition. So I thought to conduct this list basically of the 15 things not to say to someone with ADHD and my response to them as briefly as I can, basically, and hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from. ADHD, number one is ADHD isn't real. Number two, basically, why don't we just be kids. Number two, three is basically everybody has a little ADHD, it isn't a big deal. Number four basically is ADHD is typically and frequently diagnosed. These first four statements that we may have heard of before, or many others, basically has to do with the validity of ADHD as a real condition, because as I said before, ADHD or many other mental health conditions, be it whatever it may be, are real and it can exist. And many of the times I believe that with this ADHD isn't real statement, it is real, because once in a while people may have been diagnosed as a young child or misdiagnosed as a young child. Certain everyday diagnoses, in my case, it has happened to me, as I shared earlier in the piece about me. If you've been following me just as of now, I recommend basically of my AS, denial backstory, to get the lowdown of what I'm on about. But back to this is, other than I'm not given fact that ADHD is like a mental health condition, like we need to remove the stigma and the stigmatization behind people's understanding, and also just their conception of certain mental health conditions, basically. Okay, another one is, friends may innocently claim to have had an ADD moment or to have a little bit of ADHD, which not many of these people would love to hear about this, but having a little bit of ADHD or whatever it may be. But then you may hear people complain that we don't let kids be kids anymore. There's a well-known fact that sometimes some parents, even if it's not their fault, trying to wrap the kids in cotton wool, not to make mistakes, not to fall down and hurt themselves or whatever else it may be. They need to let off the steam. Obviously it's about letting kids be, and hopefully let them find in their world of who they are and what they are as they're growing up and developing into an adult stage. And then another one is basically, or that we are too quick to diagnose a child who's simply active and energetic. Yes, people with ADHD can be energetic inactive. But then again, as I said before, there are 3 different subtypes of ADHD, but we need to know about it. Certainly everyone expresses occasional forgetfulness, however, and then attention to, however. And what parent has an experience with a child's behaviour veering out of control? Who doesn't? You know, these are just normal occurrences or happenings for everyday life of when children misbehave, as they claim. But they're just trying to let off steam. They're trying to basically, you know, find out who they are in the world. And obviously in another day and age or so, with people with ADHD, they may just, you know, find it hard to focus, and they just tend to just, you know, get so overwhelmed, like people like us on the autistic spectrum to a degree. For children and adults with ADHD, however, these are more than occasional problems. For someone with ADHD, symptoms are present at such intensity that are significantly impaired today to the life. 4 to 6 I've written here as a list is, if you would just try a little harder, you would do better. Number 5, he or she is just lazy. Number 6, people use ADHD as an excuse for bad behaviour. Many people today sometimes make this inaccurate assumption about a child or an adult with ADHD, shall I say, that with this terminology, that they would just have to try harder to just, you know, succeed or what have you. As you know, with people with ADHD, they're different to us. Their brains are well different. They're constantly, like, probably similarly like us people with Asperger's syndrome. They solely focus on one task, and it gets tired and stuff, and sometimes they get a bit distracted, and then sometimes, you know, 9 times out of 10 it can basically get up and go and get them tired, frustrated, and all those other, you know, symptoms. But then again, this can lead to people with ADHD to be labelled in negative ways. Like he say, as I just said, he is just lazy, or she is a pathetic, she doesn't want to try. To add fuel to the fire, however, it's quite common at the moment for someone with ADHD to show fairly dramatic fluctuations or inconsistencies in their performance of how they go about their day. It can be sometimes puzzling or confusing to others when someone else is able to complete the task quickly and correctly at times, while other times they perform these same tasks quite poorly. This uneven pattern of productivity and accuracy is common for someone with ADHD, however. Okay, this can be beyond frustrating for those who don't fully understand the impairments that is associated with this condition. The truth is that people with ADHD exert a tremendous amount of energy and effort trying to organise themselves, focus, and keep themselves on track. Like any other condition, ADHD, however, is never an excuse for the behaviour that they're showing out to us, but it's quite often an explanation that can guide you towards strategies and interventions that can help in better managing the symptoms that arises through this condition and many others. Okay, number 7 to 8 reads, number 7 especially, that child just needs more discipline. Or number 8, ADHD is caused by poor parenting. Unfortunately, many parents of children that are having to deal with them with ADHD has to deal with these types of judgments around their parenting ability every day, which isn't a given, because obviously, as we know, that basically parents do have their struggles when it comes down to these label mentalities and all these people's misconceptions here. That's why I'm trying to remove these misconceptions or, you know, misunderstandings about ADHD with this, so bear with me. Also, basically, they think it is simply not true that poor parenting it is simply not true, I should say, that poor parenting or a lack of discipline in the home leads to ADHD or any other conditions. It's true that a child with ADHD can be more challenging for a parent who wouldn't be. It's easy to become frustrated and doubt your own parenting skills when you have your child with ADHD or any other conditions, especially when those misperceptions again around the causes of ADHD exist moreover today. ADHD is a neurobiological condition that's primarily caused by genetics. It's a genetical factor too, as well as what goes around in the environment and stuff, so they claim. Certainly a person's environment can have an influence on the expression of ADHD, but children and adults with ADHD benefit from the structure and routines as well as behavioural interventions put into place. 9. Students with ADHD who receive special accommodations have unfair advantages. You see, if a if a student or a child that is basically diagnosed with ADHD and is affecting the learning and impairing academic performance in the classroom, a student may receive instructional support and accommodations. The purpose of such special accommodations is to ensure that the individual educational needs of the student with disabilities is supposed to be met as adequately of the needs of those students without disabilities, rather than giving an unfair advantage to students with ADHD. It levels the playing field. So it's all about, basically, with that part I'm saying, we need to accommodate the right needs for the person with the condition versus not the condition, basically, and also in saying that sometimes we need to accommodate the needs of that condition, regardless what that condition is. We should be able to have certain tools and other methods for them to cope in their everyday structure, routine of what they need to do for schooling. It is okay. And number 10, ADHD in females is less severe than ADHD in males. It's quite a common conception that girls and women with ADHD are less affected by their symptoms than males with ADHD. The fact is, females with ADHD experience significant struggles that are often overlooked. Females with ADHD are often misdiagnosed as having depression, schizophrenia and the like, or even just anxiety or bipolar disorder. Similarly to my case, what I shared before with people with Asperger's syndrome, girls with unrecognised, untreated ADHD tend to internalise problems to a much greater degree and are at increased risk for maybe cigarette smoking, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, sexual promiscuity, pregnancies, STDs, self-injurious behaviours such as your self-harming and overall low self-esteem as compared to their male counterpart species. Like undiagnosed males, however, with ADHD, undiagnosed females are also at risk for chronic underachievement. The difficulty with mothers with ADHD face coping with the demands of everyday life can easily overload into parenting because of the genetic link to ADHD. Many of these mothers will be parenting children with ADHD, children who require even more in terms of organisation, attention and consistency. Okay, last but not least, there's a few other ones I want to share, and I'm sure that you guys can relate who has been diagnosed with ADHD or even other conditions, because some of these misconceptions that I'm reading out to you of what not to say basically does exist in a way of other everyday conditions. So number 11 is, I don't like you personally right now, change it. Okay, why should someone with ADHD or other conditions have to change when you maybe have to change your mentality, thinking, and just not overlook beyond, maybe stop overlooking into the condition of it all and thinking that they're the problem and all that, when in fact reality it's you're doing the quite opposite to what you're saying. You're the one that's treating us with disrespect and basically not actually wanting to accept us for who and what we are, regardless of the condition. Look beyond that label mentality of ADHD, AS, depression and the like. Some people with ADHD, they're just who they are and what they are. I know that some things may bother you or annoy you to the point of no return, but but they are aware of the happenings and the surroundings of what they're doing and how it's affecting you and all that. But, and again, in saying this, it's all about how you treat us regardless, and this will make a difference. It's about knowing, how to handle it, well, not handle us with care, but I'll call it that for now. I hate using that label, but handle us with care and respect, maybe just to the degree of basically knowing what's right and what's wrong. Maybe in some ways, some of the ones that, as I said before in one of the videos, I think, is that, especially in the learning disabilities one, if you're in a training degree of special needs, maybe you need to know what's right, what's wrong, and how to handle people with different conditions, because every condition is different to a certain extent of how people cope with it in their everyday life. Okay, number 12, it's hard to focus, or it's not too hard to focus, I should say. Wrong. As you know, people with ADHD, they're like pretty much us. They'll be solely absorbed in probably one particular thing, or they're pretty much have their mind on overdrive, and that they'll hear every inch of everything, and they'll become fidgety, overwhelmed, and to the point of maybe like having a meltdown of their own, basically. So therefore, you know, the brain is wired differently for people with ADHD, to a point where, you know, it's similarly to like how the wiring works with probably especially the syndrome brain. I could be wrong. I'm trying to do more research on that, so before I continue on that part of what I want to say on that part, I'll actually kindly research it up and then let you know about the brain of the ADHD versus the suspicious syndrome brain. Number 13, calm down. Okay, many probably ADHD people as well as people that are autistic get this. Calm down. Why should they calm down? Like, many things that they do when they're fidgety and all that is based on their self-expression, despite their, you know, boredom and all that of what they do, maybe for stinning and whatnot. It's who they are and what they are. It's all about self-expression. You know, why would you do that in the first place, telling them to calm down? Because obviously they're learning from you and all that, and it's not 100% good to do it that way. You know, it can just damage their self-esteem, damage everything about them into adulthood. Number 14, how did you forget that? Okay, yes, ADHD is all about, you know, they have short-term memory loss or whatever, they short attention span, but then again, you know, they can be creative, they can be their own individual self, so therefore basically they can just express themselves in a different way. Number 15, act normal. You need to act normal. Define, as I said, something tough before, what's normal? Is it okay to be different? Is it okay that we can be loud? Is it okay to just stand out from the rest? Is it okay that maybe for some of us, like especially me, if I stum in a funny way, that I can self-express myself to a way that, you know, never say that to a child, to act normal, because obviously, as I said before, self-expression is important. It makes us feel what we are of self-expressing ourselves, being happy, sad, standing away, or clicking our tongues, clicking our fingers, whatever. So, as I said before, the above myths and the misconceptions / false statements that I've shared are so frequently spoken, especially harmful. But with these inaccurate beliefs into place, they are often prevalent, preventing parents of children with ADHD, including adults with ADHD, from seeking the right treatment in place. Without the appropriate interventions and support that they need, however, many continue to struggle, needless to say. It is important to correct these misperceptions, basically, once and for all, basically, so that we can actually understand one another. So like I said before, learn about the conditions that we may not have heard about or may not be able to understand properly. Be able to learn about ourselves through that condition. You know, it doesn't mean it will change us over periods of time, even though yes, it's good to change now and again, regardless what it may be on your side. So yeah, no further ado, guys. Basically, that is the removing the misconceptions and basically 15 things what not to say to a person that has ADHD, and my responses to it. Hopefully you like it and understand where I'm coming from, because as I said, everyone has a difference of opinion. I know that sometimes it's not your fault for not knowing why people behave in a certain way, because we're different to you, and like I said in one of the parts, you need to act normal. We need to break down the labels and misconceptions one way or another and remove it completely and banish it, and actually self-educate, teach others and advocate others about what's going down in our everyday life of our conditions, regardless what it may be. So no further ado, guys, give me the like for thumbs up for support, for engagement. Feel free to comment below if there's any misconceptions on this sort of thing. Feel free to do so. Well, some of the misconceptions you've heard about when you suffer from ADHD that could be of use, and actually maybe your response to what you want to say about it, so that everyone else can, understand us, hopefully, one way or another, regardless ADHD or other, everyday presenting conditions that I've shared with you so far. So, no further ado, guys, basically, also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, on AspieAnswersAll. Follow me. Also, basically, not follow me, that's what I'm looking for. Share my videos around to family and friends. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, as well as basically just feeling the need to just, like I said, message me, do so on AspieAnswersAll versus basically the private message board on YouTube. So no further ado, guys, do what you love what you do. Thanks for the support so far, and I'll see you all again soon.